the Knicks postgame show presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks do it again. Now they lead the Celtics 2-0 with the next two games here in New York at MSG. Oh, my goodness. From our Delta MSG studios, Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn and Wally Zerbiak. The Celtics, guys, one field goal in the final 8:40. Wally, the Knicks close the game on a 23-6 run. Remarkable that they were able to do this again. We've talked about the fact that if they just hang in there, they can often pull it out, and we've now seen it in two straight games.
Celtics are not handling pressure situations at all.
Not at all.
When the heat gets ratcheted up and turned up, they just fall apart. They miss wide open shots. They don't move the ball and get good looks. They ran an outstanding play for Jason Tatum to get that full court dunk on the pick and roll. That was well executed. But other than that, the Knicks organization and the way Tom Thibodeau has these guys ready to get good shots and have a plan in the last 5 minutes during the clutch time, that is why this series is 2-0. The way they execute in crunch time, it is night and day compared to the Boston Celtics.
Josh Hart said after game one, Mikal Bridges is a winning player who makes winning plays. He had 0 points, did not make a field goal until the fourth quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, he helped turn the game around. The Knick offense got going because he got going. And then, of course, at the end, that's now back-to-back games where he makes the big defensive play at the end to lock it down. And don't look now. The Knicks are up 2-0 in this series, and they're not going home.
Yep.
They have the next two games in the world's most famous arena. This is set up. No one would have expected this.
No.
But it is set up now perfectly for the Knicks to step on the throats of this defending champion.
Very similar to game one. The Knicks down by 20 in the third quarter.
Yep.
This time they're down by 20 with about 3 minutes to go.
Wouldn't let go.
Even worse than the situation was in game one. And then they start to work it back. They're down 14, Wally, with 4:25 to go. They're down 10 with 5:05 to go. The Celtics are the defending champs. It's worth repeating. They had one field goal made in the final 8:40 of that game.
Yeah. They're showing they don't like to play in close games. They're showing they do not.
What are the Knicks doing? It's something the Knicks are doing, too, that's impacting this. Correct?
They're just hanging around to the point where they're right there. And then come the last 5 minutes of the game, it's a totally different mentality, the way you play it. You walk the ball up the floor. You execute a certain way. Defensively, you can kind of get away with a little bit more. You play a little bit more aggressively. You're not worried about fouling out. And the Knicks, when they get the Celtics in those moments, the Celtics are not comfortable. They have not been in tough games like the Knicks have. The Knicks are experienced with the first round.
The way they champs, so Wally.
But they ran through the playoffs last year. They weren't even like challenged. They weren't even tested. So the Knicks were tested in the first series, and now when the Celtics are up against it, Jalen Brunson's just taken over.
Alan, your thoughts?
I want to see the fourth quarter over again because it happened so fast that this is something we need to.
In thought.
We need to relive this. But here's the guy that got it going. It was Mikal Bridges, as I mentioned.
That's the one they called a 2 and then made it a 3.
That extra point, by the way, that really mattered, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And then Jalen Brunson starts to get going. He also really wasn't
wide open look, by the way.
He ended up, that's wide open when they're outside of 4 feet, right, defensively. Mm-hmm. Josh Hart had himself a terrific game throughout. He actually was a guy that was getting some offense going. But while you said it, it's the Knicks in these situations, once they smell blood.
Yeah.
That was such a tough shot.
Yeah, but
that gave them their first lead. That gave them their first lead of the game with 2 minutes to go. This
Celtics take the lead back.
Went right after them. And now here, this is a foul right here.
All defensive player committing that foul on an 85% free throw shooter,
Knicks
he knows
free throws,
that's a terrible foul.
And now here's Tatum trying to win the game. And,
how about Bridges coming off his man, Wally and Allen, to make that play, right?
Time score situation.
Yep.
You know he can't pass it now. There's too much time off the clock.
By the way, the Celtics broke a record for a 2-game playoff.
They've missed 75 threes in
there
2
you
games.
go. Keep shooting them, boys.
No team has ever missed
Live by the 3, die by the 3.
2 straight NBA playoff games ever. 10 for 40. Remember, they're the best three-point shooting team in the league.
Yes, well, they took the most.
Took the most.
They had a 40-point second half. Like they did not. I'm telling you, there's too much about this game to even talk about.
Jason Tatum, by the way, looks lost.
He looks lost. He looks hurt. His wrist is not right.
Is off?
I saw him take a fall in the fourth quarter, and he is like very scared to even put his hand on the ground. You can tell the way he's releasing the ball. It's not a clean release. And one thing about the Celtics, when you dive down into their roster, they don't really have a pure point guard. Like a guy that at the end of the game, like they trust Tatum to do it sometimes. He's not a point guard. He's not like a pick and roll creating point guard when you think about it. Tatum's their best decision maker in the pick and roll to close games, but he's not a Jalen Brunson. He is not a closer like a Jalen Brunson or, you know, some other guys in the NBA like a Luka Doncic who can just get you a good quality shot no matter what every single time down the floor. You need that in crunch time. You need your shooters to space the floor, your bigs to be going for rebounds, and you need your point guard to just control the situation and get you good quality possessions.
I got to tell you just quickly, you know, Jaylen Brown looked like he was on a mission to start this game.
Yeah.
He ended up with 20 points, but he was 8 of 23, 2 of 7. He had 6 turnovers. And it's almost like playing into your hands when you let him go one-on-one.
No question.
Because he doesn't handle the ball well. Tatum had another nightmare shooting night. So their two big-time guys are not coming through right now. And that left the door open just enough for the Knicks to, for a second game, kick it down, walk through it, and now head home up 2-0.
I can't believe Porzingis is not in the game at the end of the games. It doesn't make sense.
He looked better tonight.
Al Horford is great defensively. He's 35-plus years old. He's a great veteran. But what Porzingis brings is that element that the Knicks there's got to be something going on with him, the fact that he is not on the floor at the end of games, because he scares me when he's out there compared to when Al Horford's out there getting those open threes.
Knicks 91 points is a season low, 13 first quarter points a season low, 61 points through 3 quarters a season low, and yet they won.
Defense.
And Wally and Allen, similar to game 1, is Mikal Bridges with the game on the line making the play on defense. Going back to game 1, and then we'll watch what happened again tonight.
This is why the Knicks were constructed the way they were, to stop these two wings. Jaylen Brown, look at that. Give me that. Get out of here. This is my home court tonight. I'll take this victory game 1, and then backing it up in game 2. Mitchell Robinson moving his feet, OG coming over to help. Like, that is just brilliant defense. Length wins in the NBA. You have Mitchell Robinson long, Mikal Bridges long, OG Anunoby suffocate right there, Jason Tatum at the end of the game. That is why this roster was constructed the way it was. You need length on the wings to shut down great players. And the Knicks have it, and they're doing it, and they're taking a 2-0 lead back home. Now, let me caution you. This Boston team,
they went on the road.
They're the best road team ever with the way they played in the regular season. They are not going to be scared coming into MSG. This series is a long way from over. The Knicks have to continue to play underdog, use that as fuel, and they have to go into this next game knowing that they are not expected to win by most people.
And by the way,
let that fuel them.
Yes, and again, you could watch this Knick game, and you love the ending. But you watch this game and you say they could play a lot better.
No question.
Like, it is a second game now. You've said they're offensively, they could play a lot better. And so for them to look at film and to say to themselves now with, by the way, 2 days off, they can reset and realize some of the things that they can do better offensively. But defensively, it's like they kind of know at some point what they're doing with Boston. And if Boston, like you said, is having some issues with some of the nagging injuries that they're dealing with, you don't apologize. No. You got throttled down right now on this team, and
that's dealing with it. Jalen Brunson's right ankle's dealing with it.
When you build a team with winners, you get to a point where all you say is don't keep it close, because if you keep it close with us, we got closers, and that's how they feel. They have a closer in offense, and Mikal Bridges is showing you they got a closer on defense too.
Home court advantage, rip up the paper. 6 straight road wins.
In the whole playoffs.
Yeah, right. 6 straight road wins in the second round of these playoffs.
Knicks are now 5-0
on the road.
In the playoffs.
Straight. I don't believe
I can't tell you how hard that is to do. It's
and every
incredibly
win is by 1
difficult
point.
to win on the road, period, let alone in the NBA playoffs. What they are doing and how connected this team is and how well coached this team is to pull that off in the Boston Garden. It's impossible to win there in the playoffs.
Not to melt down.
Tom Thibodeau has these guys so well prepared. It's showing. That's how you get a 2-0 lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knicks fans across the 5 boroughs and beyond, tell me something. Are we still questioning the Mikal Bridges trade? After Game 1 in Boston, I need to ask, how many more clutch moments, how many more game-changing plays does this man need to make before we stop talking about 5 first-round picks and start talking about a New York legend in the making? Because what we witnessed in Game 1 wasn't just a win, It was a statement, a heist, a piece of basketball theater that should be replayed on the Jumbotron at Madison Square Garden every night. And at the center of it was Mikal Bridges. Now I know the national media is obsessed with box scores. I hear it already. Bridges shot 3 for 13, he's inconsistent, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something real. Basketball is not played on spreadsheets. It's played in moments. It's won in pressure. And when the game was on the line, when the Celtics needed a lifeline, Mikal Bridges was the one who snatched it away. That final possession in overtime, Jalen Brown trying to muscle his way into a game-tying shot, Bridges said, "Nah, not in my house," and tied him up like a defensive surgeon. Not a foul, not a desperation swipe, a controlled, composed, game-ending. Clap down! That, Knicks fans, is what 5 first-round picks buy you. A cold-blooded closer when it matters most. And that wasn't the only play. He swatted away Drew Holiday's 3 like it was nothing. Picked another Celtics pocket. And oh yeah, let's talk about that corner 3. The one that extended the lead late in overtime. You know the one I'm talking about. The one that kissed the glass like it knew what time it was. Banked it in from the corner. That's not luck. That's Mikal Bridges stepping into the moment. Look, Bridges isn't shooting 40% from deep right now. He's not dropping 25 a night. But when the lights are brightest, he shows up every single time. And that, my friends, is what separates dudes who play for stats from dudes who play for banners. Let's not forget, this is a guy who played all 82 games this season. Every night, every city, every matchup. In a Tom Thibodeau system, no less, where minutes aren't given, they're earned and grinded out. And still, he's diving for loose balls, crashing glass, locking up elite scorers, and sacrificing offense. For defense, when the team needs it most, he's not here for numbers. He's here for wins. And he proved that against the so-called Eastern Conference juggernaut Boston Celtics on their court. And what about the rest of the team? OG Anunoby, looking like an all-world defender. Jalen Brunson showing ice in, his veins down the stretch. Karl Anthony Towns still figuring out his rhythm, but giving just enough presence inside. The Knicks didn't play their best game, and they still beat Boston. Think about that. Let it sink in. They stole Game 1 on the road while still having room to improve. So I ask you, New York, how we feeling about this series now? Because the Celtics, they don't look invincible. They look vulnerable. They look shook. And the Knicks, they look like a squad that believes, that fights, that belongs. So go ahead and tell me what you think. Was this Mikal Bridges' coming out party as a Knick? Was this the game that validated the trade once and for all? Or do you still want to cry over draft picks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from every real Knicks fan out there. Did Game 1 shift the balance of this series? And if not, what more do we need to see? This is the New York Knicks Report, and we don't apologize for wins. We celebrate grit, hustle, and fourth-quarter heart. Mikal Bridges showed all of that and more. And now the Celtics are on notice. We're just getting started.